The guy never expected that the walking skill granted by the gods, something that sounded completely useless, would lead him to unlock sky steps, letting him walk in midair. When combined with magic, he could leap hundreds of meters in a single step. After being teleported to another world, he realized all 10 useless skills he was given were actually powerful in strange ways. But he had no idea about any of this before the transfer. The teleportation was triggered by a sudden magic circle at school. Everyone else got locked in place, but he cleverly hid on the ceiling, though he still got sucked into the new world. He woke up in a white void with a panicked old man. Turns out, that was the god of this new world. The god had forgotten to send him with the others and hurriedly gave him leftover skills. All the good ones were taken, and the rest had weird names like NPC outfit, invisible glasses, and even shut-in or useless. He ended up in a forest and tried one of his junk skills, NPC outfit. To his surprise, it came with a massive storage space, beginner gear, and survival tools. When he checked his stats, he had to roll 2 dice to assign them. He rolled weird numbers, and chose to boost luck. It worked. He quickly found food, water, and a safe cave. Each useless skill began proving its worth. Invisible glasses let him identify items and see hidden things. Shut-in protected him when he stayed indoors. Temperature control let him start fires. Eventually, he even unlocked fire magic, detection abilities, and farsight skills. He spent his days fighting goblins and nights upgrading skills. By day 5, he could one-shot goblins, and his cave was looking like a county home. That's when he noticed movement nearby. It was his classmates. Among them were school bullies and even his childhood crush. Though tempted, he chose to stay hidden, enjoying his freedom. Then something strange happened. His outsider skill leveled up. Turns out, it didn't just prevent him from teaming up with others. If anyone tried, they'd become mindless followers. He never knew this before. Later, he saved a group of fellow nerds from goblins. These were the only classmates he had gotten along with. Grateful, they followed him back to his cave and were shocked at his setup. They told him the class had fallen apart. The popular kids got lazy. The bullies gave up, and only a few were still trying to survive. The nerd group had been grinding levels to protect themselves. It turned out that among the skills given by the gods, some noticed that the troublemakers had chosen a skill to control others at will. Their obvious target was the girls in class. To stop them, the nerd group started monitoring the troublemakers while leveling up their own skills. One day, the nerds overheard the troublemakers planning to act. They told the class leader and decided to strike first. Thanks to their higher levels, they easily defeated the troublemakers, using a sealing skill to lock up the charm and puppet control abilities. After their slave harem plan was exposed, the troublemakers became hated by the girls and couldn't stay. Just when it seemed over, the troublemakers struck back 2 days later, attacking the entire class and burning down their camp. The nerds weren't there, so the inexperienced others couldn't defend themselves. The troublemakers threatened to return. When the nerds came back, they were blamed for the chaos because the girls said they provoked the troublemakers. Though the class leader defended them, he couldn't change minds alone, and the nerds ended up leaving. Feeling sorry for them, the main character welcomed the nerd group for a night. Though it was comfortable, they left the next day. Planning to become adventurers after settling the town, inviting him to join, he declined but decided to check on others. That night he discovered the popular girls group, the one he feared most. They caught him as he tried to escape. Later, after talking with the popular girls, he learned they wanted to apologize, realizing the trouble they caused. They admitted the nerds saved them before. Though surprised by the girls' change, he questioned whether they could handle monsters, knowing the nerds' location was dangerous. The girls said yes and wanted survival tips, triggering a command skill in him. His command skill caused the girls to act like soulless warriors, silently delivering lethal blows to enemies and fetching magical stones from monsters when he was injured. They even carefully applied healing potions. It was unsettling, but since command was an extra effect from his outsider skill, he didn't know how it would end. Meanwhile, troublemakers planned another attack, more serious than burning camps. The main character also realized his so-called useless walking skill actually let him walk in midair when combined with wind magic. Allowing huge leaps, he'd also learned map skills, magic detection, and 6 elemental magics by absorbing others' abilities. One day, while guiding the girls through the forest, they fought pig-headed monsters. Knowing their high physical but low magic resistance, he used fire magic to quickly kill one. The girls were amazed since the skills he had were supposed to be weak leftovers, but he was far stronger. To protect them at night, he used earth magic to set traps and his shut-in skill for defense. After several days, they left the forest. The main character kept watch and even discovered he could fly, an extension of his walking skill. Soon, they found a group surrounded by monsters. It was the first time meeting other people from the new world. When the protagonist came to his senses, he had already reached level 10, even though negative effects left him accomplishing nothing. That didn't stop him from jumping 2 levels at once. At the same time, all his major skills saw a significant boost. Another day passed without him realizing it. He hadn't expected Tanaka to arrive earlier than he thought, but after the battle with the Goblin King, Tanaka didn't seem like a threat anymore. Coincidentally, Tanaka didn't even acknowledge him, focusing only on the class leader's skill, the unique ability to steal others' skills by killing them. Tanaka had no interest wasting time on the protagonist's so-called worthless skills. Just as Tanaka prepared to leave, a wooden stick blocked his path. Tanaka thought this was asking for death. Tanaka had carefully chosen what he believed was the strongest mimic skill from a classmate. With this, he could steal all the class's cheat skills. Strangely, even after learning all these skills, he couldn't defeat the protagonist, who only had so-called trash skills. Tanaka's stolen skills were mostly leftover, mostly the bait skills by name. But he didn't know the protagonist's trash skills were actually concept-level divine abilities. The most baffling was the several attack skill. and the protagonist's health skill allowed him to fully understand the seemingly useless wooden skill, which surprisingly controlled the body through eyesight. By simply twisting his posture, he could dodge attacks perfectly, countering Tanaka's cheat skills. Not long ago, Tanaka had no clue. When the protagonist blocked his way, he tried to kill him. First, he used a control skill from the cheats to immobilize his opponent. To his shock, the protagonist only became clumsy but could still move overall. This surprised Tanaka, but he dismissed it as just one cheat skill and pondered whether to attack with sword or gun next. After thinking, he decided to use both weapon cheat skills stolen from classmates. Tanaka was a master of 18 martial arts, expert level in every field, switching weapons every 2 moves. This made the protagonist unable to keep up. His body couldn't adjust before the next attack changed. Even when the protagonist found a chance to attack, Tanaka's illusion skill easily let him dodge. While the protagonist was figuring out how to break this, Tanaka assumed he'd given up and planned to finish him off. Unexpectedly, the protagonist dodged without even looking, casually saying, "His brother's fine, it can be fixed, can be activated." Tanaka realized the protagonist hit his weak spot, confirming his guess. From the recent fight, the protagonist noticed Tanaka used each skill only 3 times at most, afraid to exhaust the cheat skill's limited uses. Combined with what the muscle guy told him before, the protagonist understood Tanaka's goal to find the class leader. The class leader's cheat skill was skill stealing through killing. Tanaka wanted to steal that skill, then kill the leader to claim the original, making the cheat skill truly his own. Even if he guessed it right, dead people couldn't ruin the plan. Tanaka kept attacking, not expecting the protagonist to stop pretending. The protagonist was now used to Tanaka's speed. All the cheat skills didn't matter. Soon, Tanaka fell behind. After being one-sidedly beaten, the protagonist tried to finish him, but Tanaka used a move the protagonist hadn't seen, forcing him to dodge and giving Tanaka an opening. Tanaka decided not to give the protagonist another chance and planned to play his trump card. After saying this, Tanaka's form became unpredictable. Though seemingly fast, the protagonist still tracked him. Just as the protagonist was confused, Tanaka flashed into the sky. The protagonist dodged, but smoke appeared, making him uneasy. Realizing it was a feint came too late. Tanaka was behind him. The earlier move was a distraction. The real ace was instant death, guaranteed to kill. Tanaka didn't think the protagonist could survive. After venting a bit, he got bored and prepared to leave, but after a few steps, a voice called him back, stepping on his head and trying to walk off. Surprised, Tanaka learned the protagonist's health skill made him immune to all negative statuses, including instant death. He exclaimed disbelief, recalling why all his tricks failed. Though the protagonist's actions seemed restricted, the wooden dummy skill had numbed him. Tanaka always thought he was a genius. He hadn't chosen the stealing skill first because it was useless without killing. Mimic was perfect to steal cheat skills first, then steal the stealing skill after gaining power. The plan was perfect, until the protagonist shattered it with trash skills. The fight resumed, but most of Tanaka's skill uses were spent. He was no match for the protagonist. Fearing surprises, the protagonist decisively used his strongest move, Defense Squad, pushing Tanaka back, and then returned to town with good news. Unexpectedly, the fight drained him completely. He blacked out and encountered a group of shut-in classmates. The news of the fight had spread to the whole class. They wanted to help, but saw it was unnecessary. With their company, the protagonist soon returned to the city gates. The class was waiting, relieved to see him safe. As the hero, he received praise. The protagonist hadn't expected that after falling in the maze's first level, he triggered a hidden mechanism and fallen to the deepest 101st floor. The highest previous record was only the 50th floor. The good news, he had just started and was close to clearing it. The bad news, he was about to die. The 100th level boss was the Goblin King, whom a level 10 could still fight. Not long ago, he learned there was a nearby maze and went out of curiosity. On the way, he encountered many pig-headed humanoids, including a level 37 pig-headed king, but didn't care. He decided to warm up, chopping through the pig-headed enemies like cutting melons, even defeating the pig-headed king in a few moves. Due to their numbers, finishing them took until dusk. He didn't forget his goal and reached the closest maze, possibly thanks to luck. He broke limits quickly and found treasure chests, but the entire floor's chests were junk. It was strange, as early maze floors were for beginners and didn't contain good loot. The deeper floors held rarer treasures. The maze had 100 floors, but adventurers had only reached the 50th floor. This piqued the protagonist's interest, and he wanted to challenge further. The shut-in group overheard the conversation and reported it to the class leader. While pig-headed enemies were controllable, the maze was totally unknown. The class leader and others decided to stop the protagonist, but he was unaware. Just after leaving the city gate, he sensed a murderous intent behind him and had to run. The class leader and others chased him into the maze. After a few steps, the protagonist tripped, accidentally triggering a mechanism and falling into a bottomless pit. The others were a step late and also fell. Before hitting the ground, the protagonist used earth magic to cushion the fall and survived. He didn't rush to use teleport but wanted to check which floor he was on. Opening his skill panel, he saw he'd newly learned 2 tactics, spatial control from the dark environment and trap detection from triggering traps. Having grown used to it, he tested these skills and saw the entire floor's layout. The 101st floor surprised the protagonist. The maze only had 100 floors. Was this a hidden level? Driven by curiosity, he explored and found a powerful boss beyond imagination. It was identified as a level 100 maze boss with all stats unknown. Though wanting to flee, the enemy was a magic adept-like. If the light cast spells, the protagonist would surely die faster. The main character suddenly leveled up to 10. Even negative effects couldn't stop him from jumping 2 levels at once. His skills also improved a lot. A day passed without him realizing it. He was surprised Tanaka showed up earlier than expected. After fighting the Goblin King, Tanaka seemed weak to him, but Tanaka ignored him, only interested in the class leader's stealing skill, a powerful ability to kill and take others' skills. When Tanaka tried to leave, the main character stopped him with a wooden stick. Tanaka thought that was suicide. He stole what he believed was the strongest mimic skill from classmates, letting him copy all their special skills, yet he couldn't beat the main character who only had trash skills. Those trash skills were actually powerful concepts. For example, the main character's wood skill seemed useless but allowed him to control his body by sight, twisting to dodge attacks and perfectly countering mimic skills. Tanaka didn't know this and attacked, trying to kill him. Tanaka used a skill that should have immobilized the main character, but it only made him clumsy. Tanaka switched weapons constantly, using many stolen skills, making it hard for the main character to keep up, even when the main character found attack chances. Tanaka's phantom skill helped him dodge easily. Tanaka thought the main character gave up and tried to finish him, but the main character dodged without looking and made a shocking comment about his brother. This confirmed the main character's death. Tanaka only used each skill 3 times, afraid of running out. Tanaka's goal was to steal the class leader's stealing skill by killing him, so he could own all the stolen skills truly, but even knowing this, the main character wasn't worried. He had gotten used to Tanaka's speed, so the many skills didn't matter. Soon Tanaka fell behind badly. Just as the main character was about to finish him, Tanaka used a new deadly move that the main character hadn't seen before. It was a trick to confuse him. Tanaka appeared above, using smoke to hide his move. The deadly skill meant certain death, no exceptions. Tanaka thought the main character was finished and got bored. But the main character's health skill made him immune to all bad effects, including instant death. Tanaka was shocked and realized why his plan failed. The main character's wood skill controlled his body and stopped Tanaka's traps. Tanaka thought he was a genius, but the main character's so-called trash skills defeated him. Most of Tanaka's skills were now used up, so he couldn't compete anymore. The main character used his strongest move and won. After the fight, he felt weak and almost passed out. The class already knew about the fight and came to support him. They returned to the city gate, and everyone was relieved he was safe. The main character became the hero. Later he discovered the dungeon had 101 floors, more than anyone knew. He found many trash chests on the first floor, but learned better loot awaited deeper down. He planned to explore further but was overheard by some classmates who told the class leader. The leader decided to stop him. As he left the city, he sensed danger behind him and ran. The class leader and others chased him into the dungeon. The main character tripped on a trap and fell into a bottomless pit, but survived with his earth magic. He learned new skills like spatial awareness and trap detection. He explored and found the dungeon was darker and more dangerous than expected. On the 101st floor, he faced a powerful lich boss with unknown stats. He tried to fight but was almost defeated. Luckily, a rare skill let him see the future and avoid attacks. The boss absorbed dark energy, but the main character's holy weapon drained it, freeing the boss from control. He realized the boss wasn't trying to kill him but wanted to die to escape the dark. So far, no one has passed even 50 floors of the maze, let alone 100. His arrival was the only chance. Hearing this, the Maze King seemed to understand and dropped his weapon. Before the hero could finish, he noticed the darkness he thought was absorbed was returning. This made him hesitate. If he didn't kill the Maze King now, the king might stay clear-headed as before, but he decided quickly. The Maze King thought he was free but was surprised when the hero just hugged him, not wanting him to be alone. The hero's own past triggered an ability unintentionally, leaving a scar on the Maze King. From then on, the Maze King was no longer the maze boss nor controlled by darkness, but the hero's lost memory teammate, a powerful ally. The hero opened a spy tool and found his level reset, and a new name, Angie, appeared, surprisingly a female. Angie acted independently and first wanted to put on clothes. The hero only had armor, and when Angie wore it, it fit perfectly like a second skin, with protective effects similar to a female's. The hero then tried to return to the place he fell from, but a mysterious force blocked his direct return. He had to climb floor by floor. At floor 100, the boss was level 100, not letting him escape, controlling weapons in the room. The fight was tough, harder than fighting Angie. But when the boss changed attack after sensing Angie's fighting spirit, Angie, despite being level 1, quickly defeated the boss. Even with his level reset, the hero remained strong and confident about moving on. Suddenly, the maze shook violently. The hero realized his temperature control ability was more than just heat. It also controlled ice and fire, making him powerful. Using this, he killed an 80-level demon while only being level 10. He found many treasures on the way, a luck-enhancing ring at floor 79, a disaster-repelling bracelet at 77, and at 75. Despite facing a level 100 necromancer, he defeated it using his temperature powers and got a precious soul gem. The hero planned to sell these treasures in town, but thought the Maze King's body, though soulless, might be revived using these treasures. He gave them to the Maze King, who was deeply moved. Unknown to the hero, the Maze King's body had changed, but he hid this fact. Meanwhile, in town, panic grew as many monsters escaped the maze. The Adventurers Guild chief, after researching ancient texts, realized the maze was alive. When it reaches the bottom floors, monsters overflow endlessly. The hero must defeat the bottom boss to stop this. The highest exploration so far was floor 50. The leader asked who could reach floor 100 to kill the final boss. At that moment, the hero's image appeared in the leader's mind. The leader and team had reached floor 54, but felt it was too dangerous to continue. Then they heard the hero's voice from floor 74, through a mysterious cave connecting the floors. The hero couldn't come up due to maze restrictions, but reassured the leader he could make it alone. Suddenly, another voice was heard, that of Millie, who warned that the monster factory in town must be destroyed and the final maze boss defeated. This meant the Maze King, the final boss, had to be killed, but the hero, knowing the Maze King's tragic past and similarities to himself, couldn't bring himself to do it. The Maze King overheard this but was surprised the hero didn't give up on him. Instead, they agreed on a compromise needing only some cooperation from the Maze King. The hero continued climbing the maze, unexpectedly growing stronger. Even huge monster groups were defeated easily. The townspeople were amazed but prepared for danger. The leader and others faced powerful monsters above floor 50. Despite their full effort, their attacks barely hurt the level 100 monsters, who almost wiped them out with one strike. Just when they were desperate, an armored man suddenly appeared and killed a level 100 monster with one hit. Everyone was shocked and relieved when the hero followed. The armored man was the Maze King. He drew his sword and struck the ground, unleashing a powerful force that wiped out the monster nest instantly, leaving the town safe. This revelation shocked everyone. The Maze King was thought to be just a legend above the maze, with the power to command all monsters inside. No one knew how the hero knew the Maze King, but the hero promised he wouldn't harm anyone. The Maze King didn't kill the monsters outright but sent them back inside the maze. After the crisis, the hero auctioned the treasures from the maze. Though unimportant to him, these were priceless for his classmates. Strengthening them, the hero hoped the Maze King would adapt to town life, though his social skills were almost non-existent. Surprisingly, the hero had unexpectedly brought back the hidden Maze King's true form, a blonde beauty, which shocked him. The Maze King had been a skeleton in the maze but now had a living body. The leader befriended the Maze King, a 17-year-old girl, and brought her to the bathhouse. The leader knew she had no real body but wanted to warm her lonely heart. When he helped her undress, he was stunned to find she had a beautiful human body. The hero, unaware of this, returned to his forest home and practiced a new teleport skill. Though it wasn't exactly teleportation, it gave him extreme speed. After a day's training, he relaxed in a special massage bath. Unfortunately, the Maze King couldn't enjoy this since she had no body, until suddenly, the blonde beauty appeared naked before him. The hero asked how she returned to human form. Though she couldn't speak well yet, through clumsy writing, he learned it was thanks to the soul gem and life-enhancing ring he gave her that she revived. The hero worried that if the Maze King stayed with him, she might lose her freedom, but when he expressed this, the Maze King thought he wanted to abandon her. Despite no words, the Maze King understood the hero's past loneliness and knew she needed his companionship. So life settled into a simple routine. The hero and Maze King sparred to test his new skills, cooked together, and the hero tried to make tasty meals for her. Over time, their bond grew stronger. 将以上内容翻译成地道的美式英语，内容简短点，内容不变，段落要与原文一样。At the start of the puppet show, the puppet suddenly stabbed a man, and that man was a famous puppeteer. He had invited Muri and the others because he believed his puppet had come to life. Backstage, Muri heard a commotion and rushed over. He saw the man arguing with his puppet. The scene looked bizarre. Then, the man suddenly laughed and started speaking in the puppet's voice. In front of everyone, he switched voices back and forth, talking to himself. Conan guessed he might have a split personality. Later, the man woke up in a hospital bed. As soon as he did, he told Muri he might kill his wife. He said he kept hearing the puppet's voice telling him to do it whenever he was alone. Muri refused to help and left. But the next morning, the man's apprentice called. His wife was dead, killed by one of his trophies. At the police station, the man immediately confessed. He claimed it was his puppet personality that murdered his wife. Then he switched to the puppet's voice again and started rambling. His personalities kept flipping back and forth in a short span. The strange scene terrified Takagi, but Inspector Megure found it familiar. He thought he'd seen something like it before. Suspicious. McClure and Muri went back to the crime scene to search again. Everything looked normal, until they found a wireless speaker hidden in the corner.